Hello, crafty friends. Let's continue on with our Marine Week of all week of ocean-themed cards. My name is Tina Kvergit, and I am Northern Stamper. If you ever need to reach me, drop me an email at northernstamper@gmail.com. How exciting! Today we're using Whale Done. Let's make a card using some brushes, lots of ink, and some ripped paper. Doesn't that sound interesting? Let's get started. First of all, let's get started with a piece of basic white. Now this is a little larger than what we normally need. This is actually 3 inches high by 6 inches across. Now we will be cutting this down, but I wanted to make it as large as I can so that it's easier to work with. So we've got our piece of basic white. We need some extra spare paper, so I got some here, and all I'm going to do is I am going to rip it, and I want to have some design, so I'm going to go up and down and rip and keep going like that. What I need to do is place it on top. I am going to just clear some of the top, so will be a little bit of white. I'm going to put a little bit of tape just to hold it in place on the top. Pardon my arm, sorry about that. And I'm going to place a little bit on the bottom. So I'm going to have a little bit of white space on the bottom, and it will continue on so that's even all the way through. Let's put a little bit of tape on that, and then we will be ready to go. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to be actually using 2 different colors. I am going to be using Flirty Flamingo and So Saffron. So I want a little yellow and I want a little Flirty Flamingo in there. So what I'm going to use is some of the Stampin' Up! Brushes. These are fantastic. They do not make the image what we're working on very dark. So I'm going to take my brush, doesn't matter if it's already got some on there. I've kept them so they're color coordinated, so anything that is kind of orangish I'm going to be using with this brush. So I'm going to pick up some of the ink, rub it around. Now I'm not going to go straight onto the card. I don't want to do that. I'm going to start by tapping off some of the ink, and I'm going to be slowly working it into the card, and as I go along you'll see goes on very, very gently. Okay, so if I need to go back, I can just go back and pick it up, but I just kind of keep working the ink over the card. And I don't want it really, really dark. Okay, so that is actually pretty dark to begin with, but I don't want to make it any darker than that. And I'm going to do the same thing with the So Saffron. But with the So Saffron, I'm not going to cover the whole area. I'm going to use some specific areas. So pick up the ink on the card. Now the yellow is a little bit more subtle, so I might have to go back and pick up some more. Okay, always start off on the page and work it in. Okay, so you can see that the yellow is starting to come up a little bit, and work that through the card. And you'll see I'm not doing the whole card. I'm just trying to highlight certain areas, so 2 areas in particular. Okay, and those 2 colors work really well together. And I can see a little bit on the edge I could touch up. There we go. Okay, these brushes are fantastic. They come 3 in a pack. So you'll see I have 1 for yellow, 1 for orange, and I do have other ones for darker colors. So let's put those off to the side. And now I'm going to pull up the paper to show you. So I'm going to carefully pull it up. Okay. And that was really just, the tape was really just to hold down the paper. Okay. So look at that great, great image that you have left over. That just a little bit of color. And that is what I'm going for. Okay, so let's get started with the next step. So I just wanted to pull those papers off to show you the effect of the brushes. We need to make sure that these stay on the card So I'm just going to put them back exactly where they were. Pretty easy to follow. I can see where they've been pulled up. So I'm just going to leave it like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the images here from the stamp set and we're going to place them on the card itself. So let's get that started. Okay, I'm going to start with one of the largest images. So one of the largest images is the turtle. So I'm going to start with the turtle and maybe work my way down into the smaller areas. I'm going to take my turtle and I'm going to actually have him in this color of cinnamon cider. So just to double check to see if that's the color I want him in, I am going to stamp on the card base, the scrap piece of paper, just to make sure. And I think that's a pretty cute color for him. And let's place him kind of, there we go, swimming up there. Okay. And so the next thing what I want to do is I'm going to add a little bit of seaweed in. And I'm going to use the soft succulent. And then maybe we'll just do a little bit more kind of down here. And I'm going to add in a second color of green. And that will be soft sea foam. Okay. Oh, I lost it. There we go. Just a little bit. The two colors of the green really work really nicely together. Okay. And there we go. Okay. Now let's bring in a little bit of coral. And we're going to add that in Sahara sand. So there's a lot of images that we could use on here. Okay. And we've got a whole bunch of fish. So there we go. We used the turtle. We used the coral, the two seaweeds. Let's grab some little fish in there. And let's put them in pale papaya. Double check. Let's stamp on our page. Okay, if we want a little darker than that, let's see what else we got. Okay. Let's double check. I'm going to try them in Bumblebee, see which one is a little darker on the, oh, that looks so much better. So let's add some little fish swimming. Okay. And got to have some little seahorses, and we'll place them in balmy blue in between the seaweeds. Okay. And let's place another one just over there. Okay. And let's see, can we get our little jellyfish in? Maybe we can place our little jellyfish at the top there. Let's double check to see what color we can make him. And let's see. There we go. Okay, let's see what happens when we take away the paper this time. That looks pretty cool. Okay, let's mount them onto our card. So before I do that, I am going to have a little bit of color behind I want to add on. Okay, and I'm going to add that, and we'll put a little bit of ribbon on and see how it looks from there. Now I had, remember, it is a little bit longer than what I would like. So I'm going to cut it down to 5.5 from that side. Okay, the glue stuck. Let's take a look for some ribbon. All right, let us now put our sentiment on and pop it on the card. So before we put our sentiment on, let's get it actually placed onto the card base so that we can see exactly where we want our sentiment to sit. Okay, let's add some adhesive and have it so it sits right across the card. There we go. That looks really good. So let's take a look and see what sentiment we can place and where we're going to put it. Okay, so I'm going to grab some paper. And I'm going to use Thanks a Ton in the same color. Let's make a couple just to see which one we like the best. Okay, I'm going to put this in Misty Moonlight. Okay. And I'm going to use the double oval punch to punch out the sentiment. Okay, and I'm going to use the top and that in the same Flirty Flamingo. Okay, so we can decide, do we want it up here? Do we want it over here? Do we want it at all? Actually, I think it looks good without it. So let's just go without it and pop it up on some dimensionals. There we go. There is another ocean-themed card with just the stamp set. What do you think?